Hello and welcome to episode 52 of Rigor Mortis Paranormal. Tonight we're going to do something a little bit different. We're actually going to be listening to a couple of interviews that Robert did. The first one was with Dennis Hagan of the Toledo Spirit Hunters, and the other one is with Jade of the Ghost Club Paranormal. I am David. This is Robert, Jasmine, Kory, and Ian.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Hello.
Been a little while again. That's the way we start every podcast.
Flat-footed.
Figure we'll keep it in true form. Just keep it going.
But you know what? Tonight is going to be pretty good. We're just going to do like the way we do, because we're basically lazy. And more of listening to these stories than us, and they are pretty awesome.
Yeah. How'd they go, Rob, the interviews? I know you did both of them. I mean, they...
Oh, very entertaining. I'm trying to think. This happens when you drink too much, because man, it's bad.
I heard you all ago.
Because I was listening to it and I was like, when the hell did I do those ones? And I couldn't remember, seriously. And then as they were talking, I started remembering. Oh, okay. I remember Jade's story. Her with her.
So you don't remember?
No, that's why I was trying to fill in the blanks real quick, right? What was it?
Were you drunk during the interview?
No, that's a sad thing too, man. I think I'm just getting, old and decrepit, man. Like I just don't remember. But no, she gave an awesome story. And I know Dennis. He's got a what was the show he had?
Oh yeah,
maybe you should take over, Dave, man. Because I'm like, what? Yeah, what? Who? Yeah, I was like, that's David.
I hope it's not kicking in already.
Maybe I should have been drinking. I don't know. Yeah. Oh no, I remember.
Maybe that's what you need, but no, yeah, actually, so I did a little bit of research because I listened to a little bit of it.
Because I was in this dumbass who's gonna forget.
No, but yeah, so Dennis and the team, the Toledo Spirit Hunters, I don't know if it's with them. That's what the part I didn't get, but there is a TV show that they've got on there. They got on Amazon Prime called Spirits Awaken. And then I guess they're coming out with a new TV show called Awaken the Unknown.
You know what, David? And I did see some of that. It's pretty good. It's exactly almost like what you would see with the other ghost hunters. They go and they do their investigations, and that's exactly what that is. That's
okay.
You see, I told you, just one sip of that Modelo there, and look what happened. Yeah. Please.
It's like Popeye with his spinach. No, but okay, that's cool, man. It's like the fact that they're on Amazon Prime. I'm like, dude, I'm pretty,
giving us hope, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm pretty excited for them, and I'm thinking, well,
he's probably saying, God damn, man, I know I ain't as bad as them. What's he trying to say, right?
Yeah, I know. That sounded kind of bad, yeah. Giving us hope.
Yeah, mine is pretty interesting. That's pretty fun. I'm sorry, dude.
Didn't mean it like that.
But you give us inspiration. How's that? Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, that we could do this. Yeah.
Right. With our RMP TV that we've talked about before, that we got hopefully coming soon. I keep saying that, but how many months has it been now?
Well, hey, that's like with me and off the mic. That's how many years now?
That's been years. So.
Yeah.
It is coming.
And some
not soon. I'm not saying soon anymore. It's coming, but it's not coming soon.
But some truly great gems in that one.
There are stuff that we've cut that we probably, I think, regret cutting, and
I think
that we didn't even catch in the first place.
Yeah, or like, and the thing about us is we'll say something funny and we'll kick ourselves in the ass because we kind of try not to duplicate it again, because then it's not the true feeling again.
Right.
when we try to say something funny and it just doesn't work out the same way. But
yeah,
I don't know. What did Jazz have to say about it?
We stayed up till 5 o'clock last night.
Oh, is that what the deal is? I was like, I noticed you kind of.
We ran out of beer at 1:30, and I'm trying to figure out what the fuck were we doing for those
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't know what we were doing.
That's the worst, because your buzz starts to kill off, and then you're just like staring at the walls and looking at each other and
finding random beers to do and finish.
Yeah.
oh Lord,
finish those up. I saw that the other day. Some guy was picking up. Right in front of us, weird. There was like a long line to get in and buy some barbacoa right there at Tony's. Oh man,
great
place
stuff.
Is delicious, man. But there's like a long line, and there's like a little. It's like a planter where people they put their butts out, and we're all cool. Everybody just standing there, we're cool. The guy just walks up or he rides up in a bike and whistling and starts looking at all the cigarette butts, and he's like pulling them up, and pulling the dirt off, and he's putting them in his pocket. And I'm like, hey, and then he just rides away. I'm like, oh, dude, are you serious?
I just wiped Rona off of this one.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord, that's gross.
That's gross. Yeah, and he got lipstick marks on there and all that. He's just pulling it up to his mouth like nothing.
And the chicks do it after when they put it on, they kind of rub their two lips together. That's what he did when he did it?
Yeah, he's like sitting there, he's standing there all cool, pulling him. He just, at one time, he's just like, ooh.
Yeah.
He made that noise, like, I'm like, okay, I guess that's a good one.
The Virginia Slim. The long ones. Oh my God, that's hard to put it vato, man. I mean,
Yeah, that is. That's horrible.
Yeah, it was horrible.
So you can imagine, like, what are those called? One was bugler, remember, and then the other ones were kites.
Oh yeah.
You roll your own tobacco. Ah, man, we've been hard up. It was 99 cents too, and it came sometimes. I remember.
Yeah, it was a pretty decent sized bag.
The pouch, and it came with papers too, man. And then some people would just buy that when.
Well, when they
instead
needed
of
papers.
buying because it was cheaper.
It was cheaper to buy the whole bag of bugler with papers and buy papers by themselves.
Turkish man, yes.
There you go.
I don't know. I did some shit like that.
I don't
Dude,
remember.
I remember rolling those, and I couldn't roll for shit back then, man. And I remember like.
You just suck on the paper.
Yeah, it would burn real quick because it wasn't tight, you know. You're just like one hit and it burned off.
Tobacco's
and you
falling
coughing and
down.
everything. But yeah, I remember those days, man. But for 99 cents, you couldn't beat it. I mean, quarts were 99 cents, man.
Quarts
It
were
went way
99
back.
cents. The 40 ounces too, man. The country club.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, those.
Mickey's,
that's
what
gross
is it?
now,
The Colt 45s, all those, man. You know.
Yeah, man, I remember that, man. 99-cent quarts, man. I think I remember.
High Life too.
High Life, yeah.
Yeah, Miller High Life.
Pop's dad, Pito. I don't know if we can mention his name in here, but yeah, one time we did a painting job and we were painting a house, and this dude's a hardcore drinker, man. Y'all know, but I'm saying that for the microphone. But he's like a hardcore drinker, and he's like, hey man, you want to go get a beer? I was giving a ride home, and I was like, shoot, let's go, man. And we pull over to get a quart. He pulls out his money. He only had like $1 and like a quarter or something like that. I was like, nah, go for it, dude. No, go ahead. I told you I'll get you a beer. Let's get. I'm like, dude, there's no way I'm taking a beer away from this man. I'm like, nah, dude, you need it. Trust me, you take it. He's like, are you sure? He's like, okay. And
That's what this is his favorite saying. After everything, hey, come on, Roberto.
Yeah.
Shingasuma. Just like that. I'm like, wow.
He said it all the time.
But like, you know what? He was infamous for the beer thing. He told me, man, they had just got like, I guess it was income tax day, and who doesn't celebrate on that day? So it was like a Tuesday tour rolling up, and they were barbecuing, and man, he was over there tearing it up, man. And even like his wife kind of told me, oh, ahí está, Pito, pero cuidado, be careful with him because he's drunk. He's not a necio, he's just loud. That's what she meant. Your ears are gonna explode. And he was a real cool guy. I like Pito a lot, and so we went over there. He drank old milk water, man.
Oh, what?
Old Milwaukee. Oh, yeah. So,
man.
So he was there, and he had the 16 ounces, and he said, Roberto, I haven't seen you. He gave me like a hug. He said, come here, you're gonna drink a beer with me, cabrón. I said, oh, fuck it. Okay, I'll drink one with you. So he looks, man, sure as shit, man. He grabs a 6-pack, and there's just one beer hanging on the loops on the 6-pack plastic. And he gave me that, like, cuidado look, like he got down, like somebody just shot his best friend, man. Like, oh, Chino, I just promised this guy a beer, man, and I only have one left, you know. And I was like, you're good, bro. You're good. That's okay. And I was like, he said, no, boss, I already told you. No, I'm going to give it to you. So what does he do, man? No bullshit. He spits on the top, and he puts his shirt, and he like dries off the top. Like that's how he cleaned them.
Cleaning it
and I
off.
was like, oh fuck no. I was like, and I didn't tell because you will kind of offend this guy too. So he was a big dude, man. So I was like, no. I said, I tell you what, you're the one who said that his wife went to go buy more beer. I'll just wait till she comes back. You drink that one. De veras, sir, for real? And I was like, oh, thank God he's going for it. Yeah. For real? And I was like, no, for real, man. You do that. No, man. But by the time Mom wanted to leave already, so I was still waiting for my beer. I'm like, damn it! So I was looking out there. He was like, I gotta go, Pito, and he's looking at me. Hey, brother, your beer, and he was like, no. So I was like, I was just looking out the window, hanging on, looking out, looking to make sure. Like if I did see her, hey, she's coming, wait, but she didn't come.
Let's go back.
She just said, I'll buy you one, you fat ass. I was like, no. Anyway,
It's different.
it's a free one, that's why. It tastes better.
It was what, like maybe like 270 or something like that, and 6 foot. Geez, I don't know, 5 or.
He wasn't that, but he was over 6.
Oh, 270 pounds, not 8.
Yeah, he was over 6 foot, maybe about 6 foot. Yeah, probably about 6'1", 6 foot, maybe 6'2" tops. No bigger than that. But he was huge, man. He was big at one time. He was so past 300 pounds, but
he was scary looking for a bit there. But he was super nice. That was great that he was nice for us too.
Crazy things too, man. Stuff that you remember, you laugh your ass off. That damn, dude. I remember he asked you for a ride. So I mean, but this is just good fun memories. But man, that was funny when he told you, hey, my buddy gave me that water heater.
Yeah, he's like, hey, you take me to go pick up a water heater. I had a little Toyota Tercel or something. I don't know, it was like a small car. It had 2 doors, I think, and I know.
But that dude hoofed it everywhere. He, that's why that was a, blessing. We're in a vehicle, and he could carry it 6 miles on his shoulder. That's how big strong that guy was. But
it was a full size one, a full size water heater. But he's like, hey, my friend gave me his water heater. Can you give me a ride? Go pick it up. And you're driving around for miles. I don't know where we're going. And he's like, oh, turn here, turn there. And I'm like, dude, where are we going? And so I think we finally, he's like, oh, it's right there. Like, just pull up, just back in here. And it's an empty house. The lights are out. It's dark. And I'm like, okay. And next thing you know, I'm like, okay, well, he's taking forever. So he's, I'm like, well, he probably needs help anyway. It's a big water cooler. And I walked towards the back door because that's where he went. And it's an empty house. He's basically robbing the place. He's stealing it. Oh my God. I'm like, are you serious? There's water all over the rug because he undid the water line, and so there's freaking water, and it was a rug, so it's just all over. And then he's like, hey, well, can you help me carry it? I'm like, I'm like, dude, I wanted nothing to do with it, but I'm like, what am I gonna do? I can't just leave him. So we put it in the back of the car, and the car's like, basically the front 2 wheels are like lifted off the ground because it was heavy. And we took it to his house. I dropped him off. I'm like, I'll see you later, dude. I gotta go, man. It's like I wanted nothing to do with that, man. But he was a trip, man. He's the one that told that lady when we painted the house on the ceiling, on the inside. There was like some butter on the roof. I don't know how it got there, but he's like, well, man, maybe, and this is some rich folks, man. That we used to paint. There was people that would pay like $8,000 to paint your house, but we'd get like $100 each. And but he's like, man, maybe somebody threw some butter up there. And we're like, dude, nobody, this is a rich folks, and they don't throw butter on their ceilings.
Like it made sense. You know what he was talking about, right? You get like your rag, and then you put the butter in the middle, and you pop it, pop, and it goes up. It came out a long time ago in this movie called Car Wash.
Yeah.
But like,
what's the purpose of doing that?
It's just stupid. You have butter on your roof. That's it. But that's what you were saying. That it made sense. With the right. They're all just walking around and like. Yeah, there you go. But you can try it. That's something new to bring the fad back there. Yeah, butter on your roof. The new TikTok fad. Yeah, But,
I can see that being a fad today.
Yeah, or what is it? The coins on your elbow. And then you have like the elbow, and you catch them on the palm of your hand, and you drop your hand.
Your arm real quick and you catch
everything, cigarette lighters and stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man, that's people are like, dude, y'all didn't have shit to do back then. No, we didn't, then.
Oh yeah, we did not.
Well, I mean, that's it was nice reminiscing. But what do you say we get on with these doozies of a show?
Yeah,
I gotta hear them. I gotta remember what they were about because I mean, that's terrible. But I do a lot of interviews. That's why
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Does a lot of them. So
I don't remember some, but like, yeah, I do remember as we go. But I do remember watching the Amazon Prime. And I do remember bits and pieces. Okay, well, anyway.
I'm just putting them out deeper. Let's just get to the story.
Okay. Enjoy, fellas. Okay, Jade. Can you tell us a little bit about your Ghost Club?
So, Ghost Club was actually a little project that started probably about December last year. It was just basically supposed to be me and my friend. I wanted to do a paranormal road trip across the US. As you can tell, I'm not from the US. I'm actually originally from Edinburgh, Scotland. So I was brought up in a very, very spooky area, and I've had a lot of paranormal experiences over there. And I kind of wanted to, feel that out a little bit in the US. So we went from California and we went all the way up to South Dakota, Deadwood. That's a really cool historic place. If you haven't been there, definitely check it out. It's like the Wild West out there. And I thought I would only have one chance in the world when I wasn't able to work to go up there. I took a little holiday. I went up there, and ever since then, I've just not stopped doing it. That's how Ghost Club kind of got started, to be fair. We kind of just called ourselves Ghost Club. It was kind of like a joke. And then I started my Instagram page. And to be honest, I've been on Instagram for a couple of months now, and it's kind of starting to blow up. And I'm just so involved at the moment with the paranormal community. And I'm learning a ton about paranormal, just everything. Paranormal in the US is actually very haunted, and I didn't realize that until now. So that's kind of been like my goal for the past few months, is just to go out and explore different states and just kind of get into the history of the US.
Is that what got you started in it? Did you said that you had some paranormal activity when you were younger? Is that what kind of got you into creating the Ghost Club and getting into the paranormal itself?
Yeah. So basically, when I was younger and I was growing up in Scotland, I had a lot of paranormal activity from different houses that I had lived in. It almost kind of followed me house to house. And one kind of strange thing is even right up, so I was about 19 when I moved over to the US. And one thing, I'm not too sure if it was paranormal or what, but there were these blue lights that would follow me everywhere. I would always see these blue lights, and it looked like they weren't coming from the sky. They weren't necessarily coming from the ground. They were just kind of hovering in front of me. And when I moved over to the US, those lights actually followed me over to the US. And I remember telling one of my friends about it and saying, hey, like, I used to see these blue lights over in Scotland, and if you hang about with me long enough, like, hopefully you see them. And that person did. And so that's kind of unexplainable, if you ask me. I don't know what they were, but it's just little things like that. And then I have seen one full body apparition as well, and that was in a house. I was about 8 years old, and my family know this story. I tell it all the time. But basically, the story was I was living in a house that was about 120 years old. And I saw this woman come up the stairs, and she was floating about 2 feet off of the ground, and she was in black rags. And I was asking, before I saw the ghost, I was actually looking for my dad. So I was going, Dad, like, Dad, where are you? And then I turn around, and I see her floating towards me. And she says, in the creepiest voice ever, like, you can't make this up. She's like, Dad, walk up the street. And I was like, stood there frozen, didn't know what to do. Once I kind of like broke that fear, I ran into the room, and then that was that. And I freak out, and I tell my whole family about it. And when my dad came back, I asked him, where had you been? And he said, I just walked up the street. It was literally the exact same words that this woman had said to me. That was kind of my breakthrough point in believing the paranormal. So at a really young age, I was exposed to that. And it's just been something that I've continued out through my adult life. Like, I'm just so interested in it, and I want to know more about it. I believe 100%. And if you believe in it, if you're lucky enough to see something like that, not that I ever want to see her again, you definitely want to make that move into figuring out what it is, why it was there. Is it me? Can it happen to everybody else? Like, those are kind of the questions that I'm trying to answer here.
So, like, do you think it's something that was in that house, or something that maybe that manifested from maybe you, or something that, if it was part of something that they can attach to and stuff? Do you feel that's what happened to you?
So with the blue light, I've had a lot of different people coming to me and saying to me, it's angels, it's aliens, it's paranormal, it's ghosts. Like, there's so much theory surrounding the blue light theory. But as far as the ghost goes, I believe the ghost that I saw in that house was residual energy, and I think that she had lived a previous life in that house, and that was the spirit that I was seeing. And you've got to remember as well, Edinburgh, where the house was actually built upon old Edinburgh. So what that basically means was they built a city on top of another city, and the city underneath, when the Black Plague happened, they shoved everybody underneath the bottom city, and they basically just blocked them in to die. So you had people under there, you had like murderers, you had rapists in there with families, with women and children, and literally shoulder to shoulder down there, just left to die. So there's a lot of kind of like that brutal, dark history that is around that area. And for me to go up in that area and see the things that I have seen, like, I 100% believe that there are haunted areas and residual energy remaining in those cities.
Wow, that's crazy. that's pretty cool. Yeah, I like that. When you got here to the States, before you even got into your the Ghost Club, did you have any paranormal activity that happened to you and not going on an investigation?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So when I first moved to the States, as I said, I was like 19. There was this hill behind my house, and I would go up there and I would just take like a 6-pack of beer. Don't drink underage. But I would bring like a 6-pack of beer up there and just look at the city lights and have a good old time up there. There was nobody ever up there. It was pitch dark. And that was the first time that I ever saw the blue light again. The blue light was just right there on the mountain right beside me. So that kind of, that freaked me out a little bit. And then one morning, well, it was probably about 1 a.m., and I was in my bedroom, the same house where the mountain was behind. And I woke up at 1 a.m., I do not know why, and I walked right over to the window, and I opened the curtains, and the blue light shined right into the window. I've actually had a few of those moments where I wake up in the middle of the night, and I go to my window just because. I don't know why, but I'll just go straight to my window, and I'll open the curtains, and I see something right in front of me. There's that. And then there's been another couple of times, there's been apartments where things move randomly and all that kind of stuff. I think the most activity that I've experienced since I've lived over here was last October when I done a Ouija board in my house. And that's never a good idea either. But I done it, and definitely conjured something there. I actually had to call a Catholic priest up the next morning and get him to come over. He didn't exorcise the house or anything like that, but he gave me his rosary beads, and he talked to me through certain things and kind of just told me to have that mental mentality. Just, you're better than what is in here, and tell it to leave, and it cannot control you or your house. But that was like, when I conjured something through the Ouija board, that was heavy for like 24 hours. I woke up to knocking behind my bed. It went all the way across my roof and down the side of the other wall. And I stand up, and I've got this all on video, and that's actually the first episode I ever uploaded to YouTube. So you'll see all that evidence in there. And I get up, and I'm kind of just documenting the knocks, and I just want to document everything at this point. And all of a sudden, you hear 3 loud knocks on my bedroom door, and there was nobody in the house. I was in the house by myself. And I go over, open the door, and there's nobody there. So whatever was in my house after doing the Ouija board, that was dark, that was evil, and I 100% believe that. And I don't think it's here anymore, though. Like, I think I definitely, I was able to kind of get that out the house. But ever since then, I've had random things in this house happen. I've had lights turn on and off by themselves. I've seen orbs in the house, captured on night vision camera. I have like a night vision camera downstairs that just runs 24/7. I had somebody knocking at my door like crazy, like they were going to bang the door down. And when I looked through the little, like the little peephole in the door, there was nobody there. Then all of a sudden, a thumb covered the peephole, And that was enough for me to call the cops, and the cops came down, and yeah, like literally, all this stuff started happening last October. Let me just add. Now things happen every now and then in the house. This is definitely the most haunted house that I've lived in since I've lived in the US. But it could also be that I bring a lot of antiques home, and I do kind of collect like weird oddities, and go to auctions and collect certain vintage things. So it could also be stuff attached to those objects.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, I don't. When people say like just get rid of the object, I'm like I don't know what object these things are attached to at this point. Like I've just got so much.
Oh, how did you get those? Did you buy them, or did you get them from your investigations, or how did that come about? The items.
So when I first started collecting things, it was just out of hobbies. I have a few comic book stores around here that the owners, they go to auctions and they purchase like very old toys from like World War I and things like that. So I collect old tin toys, puppets, basically anything creepy. I'm not going to go too far into it. But I do have the only thing in my house right now that I have from an investigation, and this was another video that I posted on my YouTube. It's the Elizabeth story. I think it's called like the paranormal investigation, not paranormal investigation in an abandoned house or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But basically that story is my friend told me about this abandoned house. So we go to this abandoned house, and again, energy was heavy. I did pick up a few things on my camera, a few disembodied voices that you can check out on the YouTube channel as well. And I just felt really sad because the entire place had been ransacked. Like this old lady had died in that house. And then I left, and then when I was reviewing the footage, I found the Disneyland pass with her name on it. So I looked her up, and I kind of investigate more into the story of Elizabeth. That was her name. And I find out that the reason why all of her stuff is still in the house is her entire family lives back in Germany. And because of COVID, they've not been able to come over here and help her, collect her stuff. So sadly, people just see that this house is boarded up and they feel like they can go into it, which, to be honest, I did too, but I did not expect all that stuff to still be there. I found all these photos, all these family photos, and I collected all of them. I went back to the house, spent 2 hours going through all these photos from her trip to Germany and everything like that, and I got in contact with her family, and I've now sent all those photos over to them, photos that they thought that they had lost forever. But I do still have 2 photo albums of hers that I've kept, and I still feel like there's a little bit of energy connected to those. But, just certain things like that. I believe that objects can have haunted. I believe that objects can have things attached to them.
Yes. I know that y'all do paranormal investigations, and I know that some of these things are private, but are there any that you may be able to share with us that, like I said, I'm not trying to get into it because I know it's a very personal subject with people, and I know that it's a privacy thing, but are there some that you may be able to share with us?
Yeah, so when I took that trip from California up to South Dakota, we have like Nevada, Utah, Wyoming, and South Dakota, and then came back again. And I will say this: the creepiest hotel that we stayed in was the Hotel Holiday Inn Express in Salt Lake City. And that one completely surprised me because it was the second night, and I figured we're going to get a great sleep here. We'll just go there, do the story, and then go to our next location. So basically the story is we get to the Express, and we're on the 9th floor. Now, on the 11th floor, back in the 60s, there was this woman and her husband. They had 6 kids together, and they were cult members. And her husband killed himself. Now, he was looked at like a prophet. So he was a big deal in this cult community. allegedly, this is the story that I've read. But I do definitely know, and you can find this in newspapers as well. When he died, she didn't know what to do. They actually lived in that hotel, and she didn't work, so she couldn't pay the rent for that hotel. So her and her eldest daughter, they threw all the children off the 11th floor. And then she picked up her daughter, threw her over, and then she threw herself over the balcony of the 11th floor in their room. And the eldest daughter, she actually lived from that drop, which is insane. Because when you're there and you're looking up at it, you're like, no way could anybody survive that fall. But she did. And she still lives today. And she still thinks that her dad's going to come back, and he is going to lead the cult into whatever their whole thing is. Like, I didn't look too much into that, but so we were staying in that hotel, and we went to the 11th floor, and I was only with me and my friend she's not a skeptic, but, you know, she's like, it could be this, it could be that. So we go up there, and she's by the elevator shaft, and she just starts, like, feeling dizzy and weird, and all of a sudden she starts crying, and this is so out of her character. Like, she's strong. And I'm like, are you crying? And she's like, I just can't. She's like, I feel so weird. I feel so weird up here. Like, it feels like something is just, like, dragging me down. So she basically she takes off back to the 9th floor that we were staying on. So I chase after her, and I feel bad because I'm, like, trying to film it, and I'm like, no, should I film this? Like, so we go back to the 9th floor, and the second we get on the 9th floor, the elevator door's open, and she's like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. And so we go to our room, and we notice that there's a light right above our door, and it was flickering. Now, that light was not flickering before, but it was now. We go into the room, and she's kind of taking a breather, and then I start to feel weird. And I have never had anything affect me like this feeling before. Like, it really, really was horrible. Like, I felt emotional. I wanted to cry, and I didn't know why. She was in the shower, and I start hearing things out in the hallway, and I'm hearing kids in the hallway, and I believe there was only one other person staying on that entire floor. We could hear kids running up and down, and this was until 1 o'clock in the morning. I could not sleep at all. I could not sleep at all. There were kids running up and down the hallway all night, and you could hear it sounded like a woman as well, like trying to get their kids in check. Every single time we opened that door, nothing. Seriously, the entire floor was quiet. There was nobody in there. We'd close the door. 10 minutes later, we would hear it again. Up and down the hallway, up and down the hallway. And that was all night. We got like 2 hours sleep that night. I can just say that is probably one of the weirdest experiences I've ever had in my entire life, was staying in that hotel. And out of all the hotels that you could stay at, like, that was the creepiest one out of the entire trip.
What was your most ones that were kind of funny?
Funny ones? Yeah, so, okay, I will tell you this. So, again, this is back in Scotland. I lived in a house with my family, and we bought this house off of this old lady. I guess she was going into a home, and we went to visit her a few times before she actually sold the house to us. And nice little old lady. And when she left, she said to us, I lost my gold bracelet here, so if you come across it, can you just give me a call and let me know? We're like, sure. And then also at the time, I was probably like 12, and she left me a few like fairy ornaments, like little statues of fairies. And she said to me, we had a pond in the back of the house, and that was kind of my chore, was to go and feed the koi fish and things like that. And she said, I left you a fairy ornament at the koi pond. It's kind of hard to explain, but it came in 3 pieces. There was like a lily pad, a fairy, and then the ball, like a glass ball that went on top to hold it together. And she said, I went up there and the fairy's gone, but the glass ball is still on top. And she said that she searched in the koi pond and things like that, and she couldn't find it. So, not really thinking anything of it, she leaves, we move in, and within the 2 months of moving into that house, weird things happen. I call it the poltergeist house because there was 100% of poltergeists living in that house. I don't know if there was multiple poltergeists or if there was just the one. But things started to happen. Things were getting moved all the time. My brother, he would wake up every single morning, and underneath his pillow, he would have a deodorant can. Like, his deodorant can would be underneath his pillow. So nothing, like, too creepy, but just, like, menacing enough, you know, to be like, something's going on, but, you know, it's not very scary. And so one day I go up to the pond. It's been a few months, and there was no fairy on top of the lily pad underneath the glass ball. 3 months later, I go up to feed the fish, and the fairy is sitting right in the middle of the lily pad with the glass ball on top of it, like it had never been touched. And unless somebody had came into the backyard, but we locked up the gates and stuff like that every single night, that was kind of strange to me. And then another time, we walk outside the front door, and perfectly lying there is a gold bracelet. It's just in a straight line sitting right at the front door. So something had taken her gold bracelet and then returned it, and obviously we called her up. She came back and got her bracelet. My sister saw a shadow in that house down the hallway, and it turned and it went into my bedroom, and I heard her freaking out. And I go outside, and I'm like, what's wrong? And she says, did you just walk into your bedroom? And I was like, no, I didn't. And she said, well, something just walked into your bedroom. And then a few days later, I was watching TV in bed, and all of a sudden, the door handle turns, and I look at the door, and it flies open. And so I go out into the hallway, and there's nobody there. So when the old lady comes back, we ask her, did you ever experience anything paranormal here? Like, just tell us the truth. And she was like, oh yeah. Like, it was no big deal at all. She's like, oh yeah, that front room, I had an exorcism done on it. I'm like, what? Like, that was my bedroom, and it's the same room that my sister saw the shadow go into, and the same room that just so many weird things just happened in that house. There was one night I had my baby brother. He was only like 1 at the time, and my mum and stepdad, they were out for the night, and I was looking after my baby brother. And usually what I would do is I would go into their bed with him, I would fall asleep with them, and then when they came home, I would just get up and go into my own room. So the whole light was on, and I remember opening my eyes because somebody had opened the door to the bedroom, and all I saw was the light from outside in the hallway, and it was this dark figure popped their head into the door, and they went, "Oh," and then they just closed the door. And I assume it was like my brother's friend came over, like a teenage girl or something like that. And then I asked them the next day, and I was like, hey, did one of your friends come over? Because I was the only person in the house. And he was like, no, like I never came home last night. So God knows who opened the door, popped their head in and said, oh, and then closed it again. Like, there was so many weird things that would happen in that house. Just like little minuscule things. Like, it wasn't anything crazy, but enough to definitely put my stamp on it. That place was haunted, and poltergeists exist. That definitely made me believe even more. I may seem new to the paranormal community. I guess on Instagram I am, but I've been extremely involved with the paranormal for a really long time now. So being part of the paranormal community it's just been such a treat. Like, it really has. I try my hardest to get back to everybody who messages me, and I'm genuinely really intrigued by other people's stories, and I just want to hear more, and I want to learn more, and I want people to teach me, and I want to teach other people. That's kind of my philosophy on the whole thing. I also do just want to add one thing real fast.
Sure.
Just to kind of, when I was explaining my paranormal trip across the U.S., like, and I think I remember I said something along the lines of like, oh, when I didn't think I would have the time, I went on a holiday or something like that. But I do just want to say that when I took that U.S. paranormal trip, it was right before the whole COVID thing had actually happened. So I did take a 2-week vacation to do this. When I came back from that, I actually got let go of my full-time job. And so since then, it's been a few months now, and it turned into a full-time project for me. So that's how I've been able to really, really dive into Ghost Club Paranormal. This is now my new full-time job. So you can find me on YouTube and Instagram under Ghost Club Paranormal. And on my YouTube, I usually put out a video every couple of weeks, whether that is paranormal investigating or just anything weird that's been happening to me. And then over on my Instagram, that's kind of the behind the scenes. So you can check out my Instagram stories, and I do lives and things like that over there.
Thank you so much, Jade, for being on our show. I appreciate it.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for chatting with me.
No problem. You have a good one, Jade. Thank you so much.
You too. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, so my name is Dennis Hagan. I'm from Toledo, Ohio. I am a co-founder to a paranormal team here in Toledo. My team is called Toledo Spirit Hunters. I also am a haunted collector, and I own a series on Amazon Prime called Spirits Awaken. I'm also working on a documentary too, hoping to come out. Has to do with the Prohibition. Other than that, when I'm not dealing with the paranormal, I'm actually a nursing assistant in a hospital. So that's my busy life. All right, so I'll talk a little bit about my haunted objects. I own one of my objects I own is a 1930-1940 wheelchair. I've actually captured a full stick figure on my SLS camera while investigating the objects live. I've actually had one of the dowels that has a spirit attached to it make my ghost meter pulsate a heartbeat or like a pulse. Let's see what else. I own a marine hat and gloves that has a marine attached to it. Trying to think of what else. Oh, I also own a doll that was actually pulled 4 doors down from the Manson murder home. That's supposed to have a little girl attached to it. My goal is to really open up a haunted museum here in Toledo. That's my goal. That's what I like to do. Let's see, what else to go into Spirits Awaken on Amazon. That basically started on YouTube, and I submitted it to Amazon. Amazon accepted it. So trying to move everything over to Amazon, but the series is going to be on both platforms, Amazon and YouTube. So anyone who's listening can actually go on YouTube and Amazon to see it. We're actually doing now I'm going to our documentary a little bit that we're working on for 2021. We're actually working on a documentary for the Prohibition. The documentary is basically about the Purple Gang who ran an organization between Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, and I think Illinois. So we're going to these locations that they used to own back in the 1930s, 40s, and we're going to investigate those locations and see if the energy of the gang still are attached to that place or the victims. So it's going to have interviews, history, and paranormal investigations. So I'm excited about that and putting that together and releasing that.
Man, that sounds pretty awesome. Do you have any? That is actually really awesome. I love the mob and stuff like that. And especially when they come out and they have ghost stories on like the areas they've been in, the old speakeasies or whatever have you, the casinos, and yeah, I've seen a couple like that and they're really interesting. And I beg your pardon, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. I know this is a sensitive because it deals with people's privacy, and we're not trying to get into anything like that with some of your investigations. But are there some things that maybe you can tell us, like some maybe some cases that you may be able to talk about, or anything that you've experienced personally?
I can tell you my experiences. I've experienced 4 years into doing this. I actually went to Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Louisville, Kentucky, and I actually experienced my first disembodied voice from that place. I was investigating the 5th floor in room 502 where the nurse hung herself, and I was with 2 other females, and they, I'm trying to think, let me see how I can word this real quick. They hung with me because I had the equipment, but I put a REM pod on the floor, and the one girl was asking questions, you know. Well, the energy shifted to my left, and when that happened, I heard a disembodied voice of a female ask for help. And the female who was on the side of me to my left felt the voice, felt the breath on her neck. I have been affected by my haunted items. I had this Amish couple. One time I was doing a live investigation. I was holding them, and all of a sudden, I just didn't feel well. It was really weird. Everyone was saying I was starting to look pale, and I just wasn't looking right. I've also experienced from them, too, that I went downstairs in my basement where I housed them at my own residence, and I went downstairs to get something out of my freezer and my deep freezer, and the husband was lighting up the ghost meter, and when he lit up the ghost meter, I asked if the wife was there, because I have both the husband and wife, and when the wife responded to me by telling me that she was there by ringing the bell that was sitting on my shelf. Sorry. Disembodied. I'm trying to figure what else. Oh, and I've actually been pinched by one of the females that's attached to one of my objects. And I actually had a medium there that time.
So on those ones right there, like you're saying, like you have your haunted items, so you're saying that you have been affected by them, it's something that you've actually been, I guess, had some kind of interaction. Well, how do you say, like, because I know we've had other people other investigators who tell us that they have investigated other areas or picked something up from there and they brought it home, and then, well, they had problems. So that's kind of what you're saying, like you had kind of a little bit of issues like that. How do you contain something like that?
Honestly, I think people kind of misconcept haunted items. These haunted items I got are basically positive energy.
Oh, okay.
People don't realize that some haunted items are residual, some are intelligent. Some of the items I do have are residual, some are intelligent. But they're only active when they want to be. I have nothing negative in my house because of my boys.
I understand.
I have to protect my boys.
Yes.
So, now, I have experienced, have you heard of the Cobweb Effect or Web Effect?
No, that's the first one on me, yeah.
Okay, well, you ever walk through like a doorway or a room and it felt like you walked through like a cobweb?
I don't believe I've walked through or into areas where it felt like I was walking through like thick air. I don't know how to explain it. Like it just changes the atmosphere.
I've had it happen twice to me. And what a good friend of mine who's a medium has told me that it's basically a spirit manifesting itself, and you're walking through the ectoplasm.
Oh, wow.
So it gives you this cobweb effect. You feel like you walk through a whole cobweb. Or, again, like you said, hair in your face. But you clawing at your face trying to get it off. That's basically spirit manifesting you. You're walking through the ectoplasm. I've had that happen twice.
Wow.
Out of my haunted items.
But you said they're mostly positive, so there's no like negative energy contained to it with them, affiliated with them. So, that's pretty awesome. So, what is your most favorite haunted item?
My favorite haunted item?
Yes.
I would have to say probably. I'd say my wheelchair, maybe my doctor's bag. I've actually caught four figures at once on my SLS camera.
So this doesn't like give you the creeps or anything like when you have them in your house, or do you have them in your house? Is that where you have your haunted items? Because you said, I believe when we spoke, you said something like you had like somewhere in the vicinity of 100 items.
Yep.
Wow, that's a lot. How long did that? You said it took you like 4 years or longer?
It took me about 2 years to collect them.
Wow. And
but they're not always active.
Oh, okay.
Not all the time. They don't bother us. Sometimes they'll let us know they're here. Sometimes they won't. Sometimes I'll do live sessions and investigate them just to get them riled up so I can get some activity out of them. Other than that, we don't really get a lot of activity. Unless they're intelligent and they want to be active. But that's the only time.
Okay. So how do you display them? Do you have like cases for them, or they're just on shelves, or do you have to have? And the only reason I know that you said that they weren't harmful, so I imagine you wouldn't have to have like any kind of medallions or any kind of protections like that in front of those ones, then, right?
No, some of them are on shelves, some of them are in their garage. I have a camera on them 24/7. I've actually bought I bought a device called the Boo Bear. Basically, it asks questions, and I actually caught a female EVP over my camera, Valiant over my camera, saying no, because it asked a question. The bear did, and it responded. It said no. I was like, wow.
What got you into this, into the paranormal, to research and collect all these things?
Well, my fascination with how a spirit can attach itself to an item, like, it amazes me how that can happen. Like, why, the question is why does it do that? Is it because they don't want to cross over? Is it because they want to stay here and they like it here and they know they can stay here and move among us without us knowing? Maybe the item that they attach themselves means a lot to them. They don't want to leave it. Do they want to stay here because of loved ones? Those are all big questions.
Yes. Would you say that, have you ever had anything that was like any kind of incident or paranormal incident where it was something that was a little bit on the darker side?
Out of my haunted objects?
Anything, just basically.
I can tell you this. I actually purchased the first dowel off eBay. Investigated it twice, maybe 3 times. Didn't know I had something negative to it. The backstory was a bunch of teenagers messing around with a Ouija board and attached a spirit to it. That was the backstory. So I'm investigating it live, second time. I had a flashlight, REM pod, K2 meter, and I asked it, I said, can you light that flashlight up again? Because it lit up once. Next thing you know, we hear this loud bang. Now, here's what happened. When I asked it to light up that flashlight, I didn't know it at the time until I went over the audio the next day. Now, the only people that were home was me and my mom. She had a shoulder surgery, so I had to, take care of her. And I was downstairs by myself the whole time. And as soon as I heard that slam, my mom heard it too, and she was like, what was that? I don't know, but I told her, investigate upstairs, because find out what it was. I investigated downstairs. We were walking around. We were trying to figure out, okay, what could have caused that? Well, next morning, we wake up, and I'm like, what if it was the back door? Well, I slammed the back door, and it sounded just like it. And then I heard, because I went over the audio, and I heard a door slam. Actually, I heard it say, the door, then the door slammed, and then it goes, that was me, after I said, what the F was that?
And how did you deal with that after that? I mean, did it bother you again, or?
I come to find out that it had a demonic attachment, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I talked to a medium. Medium was like, just put it in a box, seal it tight, in black paper, put aluminum foil in it, make it a mirror box. Well, to this day, it's in my in-laws' backyard. They have a big acre land. It's in their backyard, 3 feet in the ground. It will not see the light of day unless someone digs it up.
So then that was the last that you heard of that after y'all did that?
Yep, that was the last I heard of it. So what I did, and plus what I did with that box too was before I closed it, I put holy water and black salt in there. Okay. Black salt contains the spirit where it is. Holy water, I had a Catholic priest bless it and bless my house.
Okay.
But prior before that, I was having nightmares, and these nightmares were off the freaking hook. It was crazy.
And was it because of that? What that haunted item, the thing that the demon was attached to?
It was causing me to have nightmares, which was causing me to fear it. My fear was what's making it stronger.
So,
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. So and I know they do feed on fear and hate and other things like that.
It was a porcelain doll that I bought off eBay.
Did it have that it was marked as haunted? Going back to the Ouija board, as soon as you said it, I said, man, nothing's good gonna come out of this. And sure enough, have you ever owned an Ouija board?
I do own a Ouija board, but the Ouija board is sealed in the box.
Okay.
I haven't opened one. I haven't messed around with it. I'm actually waiting to... I want to mess around with the Ouija board just to have that experience.
You do want to mess with it, okay.
But I want a medium here with me.
I understand.
So that if something negative comes through, he can sense it, and then he can say close the session.
Yes.
I do want to touch base on the Ouija board, though.
Okay.
I do believe that you get your college drunk kids, you get your high school teenagers, and, they get a little plastered, or they get a little high, and, they're having little slumber parties and stuff like that, and they pull out a Ouija board, and they're like, you know what? We're drunk, we're high, man. Let's try this. Well, what happens? You open up a doorway. What does that doorway do? While spirits through, what are you going to get? You're going to get something negative. You're going to get something positive. Whatever you're talking to, you don't know what you're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. Here's the kicker about all that. Something gets slammed, knocked over, knock on the wall, door shuts. Someone gets touched, scratched. What happens? Everyone drops everything, runs, right? So what does that do? You have to close the session on the board to close the portal. What happens when all that happens? They get up and run.
Yes.
So what happens? They'll say goodbye, and then they leave the door open.
Oh. So let me ask you, Dennis, is there, like you said, you wanted a medium or somebody, that's where that comes back to. On an Ouija board, there's got to be somebody that knows how to close that door, somebody that's mainly experienced with, I mean, because like nobody, this is because like I said, I've never played with one before, I've never dealt with it. Can anybody close that door? Like those drunk college kids, if they said goodbye, would that be enough?
Yep. That'll be enough.
Really?
Once you say bye, once you say bye on the Ouija board, you close the session.
Wow.
You close it. You're done. There's no other spirits are gonna come through. Once you take that pendulum and you do 3 circles, you're opening up a doorway. You're opening the door to communicate with whatever comes through that board. Now, with me, I have over 100 haunted artifacts, so I can get plenty of spirits to come through and communicate with me on the board. But when I do it, I want a medium there with me so that if something negative tries to slip through, he'll sense and say, "Hey, then something negative is trying to slip through. I feel it." Then I'll close the session.
That's a good idea. I understand what you're saying now. Yeah, because they can sense who's evil and who's not. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Everyone can find us on YouTube at Toledo Spirit Hunters. Facebook, same thing, Toledo Spirit Hunters. Instagram, same thing, Toledo Spirit Hunters. We're on Twitter. You can find us at Toledo Spirit Hunter. That's TOLSPIRIT Hunter. Let's see, Amazon Prime, you can just look up Spirits Awaken, and you'll be able to see the first episode. The first episode actually takes place at the Chateau Louise in Lunapier, Michigan. We're actually planning another episode to return back there here probably next year sometime because they're having more activity, and they asked us to return. And we do residential and business investigations. If you happen to have one and you want to be a part of our series, you can reach out to us. We'll work everything out. We also just help people too, because we give them a choice to either let us film or don't film. So we'll still work with the location, whatever they want.
Dennis, man, you're super awesome, man. Thank you so much for being on our show, man. This is awesome. Thank you so much, man. I can't even begin to say how much we thank you for sharing your stories, brother.
You're welcome.
What did Cash say right now? That he wanted a beer? It sounded like he said he wanted a beer, right?
I want a beer.
I want a beer.
Swedish.
Yeah, in Swede.
Sweet. Yeah.
And there you have it, fellas. Yeah,
That's a little awkward to come back on, but
Yeah. No, but
we'll give
yeah.
it to him to calm him down, you know.
I think you see they do that back in the old era, right?
Yeah.
Oh
way
yeah,
back
cough.
when.
Yeah, the industrial strain cough drop. Yeah, the over the counter, you couldn't get it. You had to have a prescription. Here, mijo, take this, man. You'd be all fucked up, thrown on the ground, on the floor too, on the tile, just thrown right there. Just somebody put a sweater over him. But you would, you'd be like, you're not good. Hey, but you know what? And they always say, rest. You know, when you're sick, you need to rest. But we weren't sick.
Yeah, no, we weren't sick.
I think that's why we like that wine so much, because of the alcohol that was always in that shit, man.
That's crazy.
But yeah, we always did. Yeah, I mean, anyway,
Different time, huh?
yeah, different times way back then, man. The law was more lax. Didn't have as many child protection laws back then. And, I mean, even the judges were doing it. Like, here, shut the fuck up and give them this, man. So yeah, they're the ones who showed us. Yeah, you know, the judge. Well, instead of beating them, have you ever given them alcohol? You know?
Yeah, right.
They get it. I never tried that. Yeah. Again, thank you for those awesome stories, guys. They were awesome. Thank you, Jade from Ghost Club Paranormal. Thank you for that story. And also, Dennis Hagan, be sure to catch his series on Amazon Prime, which is called...
Spirit Awaken is one that's already out, and Awaken the Unknown is coming in 2021, so I guess later this year.
Awesome, man. So he's got 2 going at the same time?
Yeah, well, I guess, I think the other one's, it looks like it's done.
You're the one who interviewed him.
It looked like it finished. I only saw 1 episode on there, honestly. Unless they got more coming, I'm not too sure. So
damn, that's so cool, man.
You gotta check it out. But yeah, he's got 2 on there, and we got none. So hopefully,
we can turn that around someday.
Yeah, one day we will. Yes, we will.
We're definitely looking up to you, Dennis, man.
Yes.
Do they have like rated R Amazon Prime?
Oh yes, they do.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I just want to make sure our content would be accepted.
Yeah, no nudity, but yeah, nobody wants to see that. But it's all foul mouth, man. That bunch of drunk, foul mouth heathens. That's what they are.
A bunch of gun and drug references.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah. Rapies.
You know that's true.
There's a lot of bad references.
Yeah.
What would our TV rating be? Would we? It'd be.
I don't know what it would. Mature, yeah, we'd probably have that. Because we've had I mean, and like that's like a badge of honor, but it's not. I mean, it's just the stories that we get, like the rapes and what else was it? Oh man, bestiality. We have everything, man.
True.
I know what we're talking about. Yeah, that was way back with the horse. We
won't make a video out of that.
Yeah. Oh god. I gotta play the cow.
I don't know who'd want to be a
horse costume.
I can't do shit.
It sounds more like the Pillsbury Doughboy.
Every time there's an insertion. Oh god, that's gross. Shut up, Ruin. Oh Lord have mercy. But anyway,
it wouldn't be PG-13.
That's right, definitely, man. Yeah, that. Well, you gotta make it interesting, man. Shit. I mean, we live very dull lives, man. So we gotta spice it up, man, a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah. So if you guys need to find us somewhere else, well, if you're listening to us, you already found us. But you can always tell your friends, or if you got other platforms or whatever you want to listen to us on. We're on Spotify. I just found out we're on Audible. I didn't even know that. Let's see, iTunes. YouTube,
website,
Facebook, whatever. We're all over the place. So anywhere that they accept us, that is. But
I didn't even know what that was. Audible. What is that? Is that yeah, the quarterback con? 59-61 RMP. Anyway, so
yeah, if you got a story, email it to us at rigormortisparanormal@gmail.com. Or you can do info at rigormortisparanormal.com. That works too.
YouTube, our productions are on there.
Yeah, RMP Productions, RMP TV would be coming soon again. So keep an eye for
episodes. You can catch us there and just everywhere. Just you can catch us basically everywhere. My head's shaking like that. Anyway, though, yeah. We have all those platforms and we got such a low rating. Damn.
But anyway, thanks for listening to us tonight, and until next time, we'll see you later. Good night.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.